because we need immigration to fuel the economy to grow.
Sense of urgency to build a network.
As Canadians, you need to adopt an immigrant mentality because
you will not get a great mentors if you are like locked in yourself and with a negative stuff going on in your head.
Everybody said, oh, you shouldn't start a gym. You need to get a full-time job and get a retirement. Well,
that's why probably people say that you should travel, you should see more things.
Nobody cares.
So many things are coming. And you should be just with the right mindset, in the right place, with the right people.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Arthurs of Robert Arthurs International. I'm a certified business coach and a consultant. I'm also a serial entrepreneur who's opened 14 different companies in a variety of sectors. Today, we're going to talk about immigration to Canada and what it means to me to start a business in Canada. You know, just because you moved here, you have a brand new address, you need a brand new mindset to accommodate the Canadian environment to be a successful entrepreneur. We are being told by many government officials and universities that, you know, they need to find a job, and the jobs are hard to find. So many of our new immigrants have come from entrepreneurial families from around the world, and they are being told to get a job, and now they're trying to unpack that entrepreneurial spirit that they had back home with their families. And that's what we're finding today, that many immigrants who can't find a job or a good paying job are now looking to entrepreneurship to find an opportunity and build their own future going forward. So today we're going to talk about unpacking what does that look like in Canada? How does that work? I'm going to be interviewing my good friend here, Yuryi Roma. He is an immigrant who's been in Canada for 2.5 years from Ukraine. And he's going to tell us about his experience of what it's like to open a business in Canada and the mindset that he had to change to survive in the Canadian marketplace, because it is completely different from the other places. Give you an example. My wife, who's from China, who from a city of Xi'an, it's called 13 million people, you can have the worst organized business with things that make no rhyme or reason the way it's displayed on the shelf and still be successful because of the sheer amount of people that are walking by the front of your store. In particular, in Canada, in Vancouver, we're a city of about 2.5 million people, or a little bit more, but we are separated by water and bridges. So each region in British Columbia or in Vancouver is separated by water. So we are cities of 500,000. The North Shore is 500,000. Surrey's about 500,000. Vancouver's about 500,000. So you really need to be laser focused on your business opportunity, on what you're trying to do here in Canada, because you're not getting access to 2.5 million people. You're getting access to 500,000 people in your market, unless you make a really cool company and a really good marketing statement to make people drive from Surrey to North Vancouver. So I want to start off my questions with Yuryi. Yuryi, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Robert.
Tell me a little bit about your experience, your background, what happened to you, what brought you to Vancouver.
Well, my background is a lot of entrepreneurship and different kind of job. I was doing labor job, different type of businesses. And as you said, like the business here in Canada, in Vancouver, is different, right? And when you came from other place and you are kind of thinking the same thing, and you are thinking with the same mindset, but sometimes it just doesn't work like that, right? So, and you should just shift and find connections. And what is interesting is that you are subconsciously at your hometown, your home country, you're building the network from the start, from the school, university, etc. And here you should do it like consciously. It's something you should put effort on, you know, and it's probably one thing that will build your business.
I agree. One of the things I do a seminar called New to Canada Thinking Starting a Business, and I give 4 tips. The number one tip that I talk about is connections. As Yuryi was just mentioning, building connections, being deliberate in going out and networking. So tell me, you do a lot of networking yourself?
Well, I started to do it more when I realized that it's kind of tough when people don't really know you and you are not building the community around your brand, your story, who are you like as a person, as a business. Like it's very important to have this kind of sense of urgency to build a network.
Absolutely, and the network is what's going to help you survive. And in particular in Vancouver, we're probably number 3 or number 4 city in the world for LinkedIn. And it's very important to have a LinkedIn profile in this city because a lot of people, and by the way, just to let you know, I've worked with many, probably in the neighborhood of about 150 to 200 entrepreneurs from other countries. So I've worked with new immigrants, and all of them have the same sort of challenges about building a network. And so building a network and building your LinkedIn out, because this could be a very, very cold city, even a country. People say, well, it's not so friendly here in Vancouver. Well, I also came from Edmonton. I knew one person when I moved to Vancouver. So I was like an immigrant myself. But I deliberately, like Yuryi, went out and started building a network by networking, getting to know people. Then, that every time I'd go to a networking function, I'd build more people. You'd gather business cards, build your database, communicate with people. And each time you go to another networking event, you get to see that same person again and have a bit of a conversation. So Yuryi, tell me a little bit about your job hunt, or what were you being told when you came here? Were you looking for a job? Did you decide to become an entrepreneur? What was it that was different for you?
First, what was different that all your experience you had before earlier, it starts from zero again, and you're a no one. It's a completely different story because it puts the people in the tough situation when they should go through this stress, whereas they should build all from scratch. But it's also give a power, it's give you a power that you made it once again. And once you already started this momentum going, it's just getting easier because you've started to know more people. You are starting to understand the mindset, and it might be a change the game. And what was interesting for me, how do you think, what is the main probably mistake or the problem immigrants who are specifically with an entrepreneurial mindset or want to build a business or want to build a business empire? What is the main problem in his head he's facing when he's come to Canada? Because you worked with other immigrants, what do you think is this kind of thing?
Well, great question, because you answered it a little bit in the beginning, and that's that whatever was back home, and whoever you were back home, you might have been a hero back home. Here in a new country, nobody knows you. That you've got a blank canvas, so you have to drop that ego right from the get-go because nobody knows you. And I hate to say it, but it's a little bit cold. Nobody cares. You got a brand new chance at a brand new life. Forget what happened back home, and I don't mean just drop it. It means something. But right now you have a chance to, whether you had mistakes back home or victories back home, here's a chance to take those some victories and what you've learned back home, mistakes or victories, and turn that into a really successful business. There's a huge opportunity in this country for people that are willing to do the work. I love it because I used to say, Canadians, you need to adopt an immigrant mentality because you guys see things differently than we do. Most Canadians are sleeping. Immigrants are looking like, oh my God, this is the land of plenty. There's so much opportunity here. So I see the opportunity of people coming. I also say, whatever you did back home, you can replicate that also in Vancouver. Yuryi's from Ukraine. Unfortunately, there's a war going on in Ukraine, but it will end. But there's an opportunity to find out, what does Ukraine have that Canada needs? What Canada have that Ukraine needs? So I always think, and I always teach entrepreneurs, you're born global. You were privileged to be born in another country. I wasn't. And to take, what does that country need? So in my wife's country of China, we looked and said, okay, this is the need from China. This is what we can do, and this is the products they need. And also the same thing, what can we bring from China to Canada? So looking at the two-way street of trade, what do you have back home that Canada needs? And what does Canada have that your country needs? And that's a great way to start to think about entrepreneurship whether it's trade, not always about export. Everybody talks about, export, export, export. It's about trade. I buy from you, you buy from me. Your countries buy from me. So that's a great opportunity about looking at yourself, understanding whatever happened back home, whoever it was good or bad, nobody cares. Nobody knows if it was bad. You got a brand new chance to turn the page and start all over again and get out of bed with a great attitude that I'm going to go and get them just like you. I mean, 2.5 years I'm impressed by you. How old are you, Yuryi?
I'm 23.
23 years old, and you came here 2.5 years ago.
That's
so
right.
you were like 21 when you just had turned 21 when you got here.
I was 20.
Wow.
I was 20.
You're so brave. Wow, what a journey. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's actually very interesting that, like you said, that things you can see differently because you've seen what worked in your country and what's happening in terms of business in your country, and you can see here the same thing but with from another angle, right? And you can just literally implement it here or find some other things that would work, like help each other. And that's very interesting to know. That's why probably people say that you should travel, you should see more things, because I've heard a lot of stories when people went to some other countries and they then come back and they create some biggest businesses in the world. And yeah, there is a lot of things that may be helpful. What do you think from people who are already born here and they have grown a big, large company? What do you think? How they prefer to communicate with new entrepreneurs who immigrants and came here? What do they want from them?
You know what? That's a great question, Yuryi. A lot of immigrants, for instance, I love mentoring people. So I've had a chance to mentor people. Your success in Canada is also my success. I have a responsibility, and so does every other Canadian, to help immigrants succeed in this country, because we need immigration to fuel the economy to grow. So without immigrants like yourself and people helping you, Canada's not going to make it as a nation. We're just getting older as the population goes. And a lot of the world looked at Canada bringing in 1 million immigrants last year. We're not going to do that this year. We didn't have all the housing for it, but everybody looked and said, wow, how did Canada bring in 1 million? Because our population's getting older. Well, you look at China and Japan and all these other countries that the older population is aging very, very quickly, but there's no immigration. So they're trying to look at Canada's model of how we brought in 1 million immigrants, and we sort of stop that now while we build housing, and we'll go back to bringing in probably 1 million immigrants next year. But there's a lot of opportunity with mentorship. So there's mentorship available through different organizations that are putting up mentorship that are to help you. I mean, I think of an organization called Vision to Reality here in Vancouver. Their mandate is to help immigrants settle and to get the right information to make sure that you're getting right. So my job is to help immigrants pathfind to get to those services. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, but for the most part, they give you good information. And it's a way to help immigrants settle. But it's a matter of disseminating that information, because governments change, and then that information's gone with the last government, and now you have to find somebody else that'll tell the new people arriving, if you go to this place or Success or Vision to Reality or BCIT, you can get this sort of things.
Oh, that's interesting. But also, I was kind of curious. I've noticed you worked with many of new immigrants who want to make business, startup, corporation. And I've noticed that they, in their cases, they struggle with the first clients, get this traction, when you are going and people starting to know you better, and you get some clients. Most of them just stop, literally on a stage of, I want business. They make some website, which is easier right now, right? and they just stuck there, and they might be a good, they might have a good product that market needs. But what's stopping them, at this point? Why is this?
You know what? A lot of them get comfortable, and a lot of them get scared. And I'll give you a great example of that. In my consulting world, Because I'm the token white guy, right? Born and raised Canadian. Outside there, like in my wife's community, the Chinese community, many new immigrants are working with other minority consultants that are new to Canada themselves, maybe 5 to 15 years here, but they're considered experts. And because many people feel uncomfortable speaking English, so they're more comfortable in their home mother tongue, and therefore, so they use these people, and it doesn't matter if it's Chinese, Iranian, or whatever it is, that's where they go. They go to that, and they can only go so far because they don't know what to do on the next level. They don't know what their next step is and how to take that business to the upper level. So they're missing a smith because first of all, they got wrong advice, or they got advice that only took them to a smaller business. And, I can't say, a lot of times, Yuri, in my old days of teaching entrepreneurship, I would say, in the beginning, you need to make a decision whether you want to be a cottage-based business or a big business, because there's two different ways of thinking. If you want to just carve out a little living and make just enough money for you and your family and not be rich and just comfortable, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to carve out a big business and make from a medium size to a big business, that's a whole lot of different thinking, and that's a whole different level of thinking and a whole different level of consulting who's going to help you get there in a new country.
Do you think like everyone needs this kind of help, consulting, mentorship at the start, or because in many cases it costs some money for new entrepreneurs, especially if they're new, they're kind of like I need to choose like what I'm gonna buy, or I'm gonna, it's kind of difficult, like when they working on a full-time job, and then they want to build the business, but that's just how everyone starts, right? So but how they should go, like in which way, like
well, it's a great question. I mean, I came from a family of 6. My dad told us, all 6 of us, he has no money for us to go to university, because that would have cost him 6 different people to go to university. So right away, all 6 of us ended up being entrepreneurs. We had to think differently. So the immigrant to Canada is going to have to look at a different way of thinking, and they get stuck in a lot of different. They get stuck in realms. They don't get enough of the right information to take that business to the next level, and sometimes they'll get, I don't want to just say they get the wrong advice, but they do get the wrong advice. They don't have that they don't have that energy to take their business to the level. And I love that immigrants work part-time or full-time and have a job. I always think that you need to have that livelihood coming in, but you can work on your job part-time. When I started my first business, I went to night school. So I worked full-time during the day, and then at 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock, 3 nights a week, I went to NAIT, which is similar to BCIT here in Vancouver. So I went to NAIT night school every day for 4 years, or 3 times a week for 4 years. And then I got recruited into entrepreneur school, and I was in entrepreneur school every 5 days a week at night, still working full-time a job. So there's ways to do this. You can do it, but that time I was doing it, this was not online. You could do correspondence, which is where they would mail you stuff in snail mail and then send it back to them. So there's ways to do it. It's just a matter of, what is your brain telling you? We all have self-talk. That's right. And we all have messages we're getting. What is your brain telling you? Because most of the time we're telling us we're comfortable at home. This is how we did it back in. This is how you did it back in Ukraine. So it's different than in Canada. It's a completely different mindset. You have to put yourself. It's a game you got to play with your head, because your head will tell you you can't do it.
And you should probably win this game, like if you want to win the business, right?
Yes, exactly right. Business is a game.
It is a game,
and you want to win.
It's a competitive game, I guess.
It is a very competitive game, and it can be fun, but it can also be very stressful if you don't have the right tools. So, I was just going to say, so on that last point on the taking it to the next level, we're all going to play different games. Our brains are going to talk to us differently. We're going to have different things that we're going to say. We're going to also have people that say, "Oh my God!" Like back in my day, everybody said, "Oh, you shouldn't start a gym. You need to get a full-time job and get a retirement." Well, today those retirements are very few and far between. The pensions from companies are long gone. It's now you need to rely on the Bank of Yuryi for your retirement.
Yeah.
So you have to have a completely different mindset and a go-get-em attitude of taking advantage of the opportunity. People look at the tariffs right now, Yuryi, and say, oh my God, the tariffs are killing us. You know what? I look at that as almost a blessing because it woke Canada up. And now because of Canada's sort of stiff stance, this is what we're going to do, other countries have now paid attention and taking that sort of stance as well and doing their own things. I mean, go back to your country and the war in Ukraine. Okay, they weren't getting a lot of their stuff they needed, so they decided to do it themselves.
Yeah.
And they're doing a better job than they can get from anybody else.
That's right.
So the stuff that's coming out of Ukraine is out of necessity. That same sort of necessity is what you need to have here. You need to have that same mindset and say, okay, I can't rely on this guy anymore. I need to bloody well do it myself.
Also, what do you think is the mindsets that change trajectory from like being small or being large and really large? Where is this gap like in mindset?
The gap in the mindset is that your brain's always going to tell you can't do it. Your bank is going to tell you that you can't get the money to build that large corporation. And I'll give you an example. In banking, when I first started my first business, I was with one bank, and they gave me those limits, Yuryi. They said, no, we can't finance your line of credit to go to this. I thought, this is ridiculous. They're trying to keep me as a small business because they won't give me a line of credit. They're seeing my business grow. They're seeing all these accolades and awards that I'm winning through the Chambers of Commerce and other areas. I was nominated for Entrepreneur of the Year by Ernst & Young twice. And then, so I finally said, enough is enough. Somebody said, Rob, don't take it. Go look for another bank. Well, lo and behold, okay, so I took his advantage. I got an appointment at Toronto Dominion Bank. Lo and behold, I walked in there. The guy says, I've been reading about your company in the paper. I love what you're doing. We'll give you everything you want plus this. So not only did I get what I wanted, I got a $10,000 credit card to go with it. So whatever the bank may be telling you, that's maybe that individual cannot think like an entrepreneur. They're stuck in their box, right? A lot of the bankers think like boxes, and they keep you stuck because they don't want to bend the rules, or not even say bend the rules, but they don't think like entrepreneurs. If they were entrepreneurs, they would be an entrepreneur. They don't think like entrepreneurs. They think within this box. This is Yuryi's business. He can't wiggle. So whatever the banker is telling you to limit your thinking on that business, I'd keep looking for another bank or put out a proposal and look for something different. So you shouldn't be, because you have your own limitations here of what your brain's telling you, then you have limitations out there.
Okay. And you should just like shift it. But it's like, it's not happens like for the one day. You just wake up and you have a entrepreneurial mindset. No, I mean, It's not happening like this. It's probably a journey you should like follow, and then it will come to you, I guess.
Yeah, well,
at some point.
I was fortunate for me to have great mentors in my entrepreneurial life. I didn't have a lot of entrepreneurs. When I first started entrepreneur was self-employed. It was be your own boss. I didn't have a lot of good role models to follow when I first started my business. So I can't say that I had a lot of mentorship. I just had to fail, but fail fast and go and get up and dust myself up and go. I was a personal development junkie. So I always had to bombard myself with Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, Anthony Robbins. I listened to all this stuff, went to all the seminars, because out there is extremely negative. And in here, that negative gets in here as well. Especially, you can read the newspaper. As soon as you quit reading the newspaper, the recession's over, right? If you could cut off all the news about the tariffs are gone, right?
There's no problem.
There's no more problem. That's right. So we're bombarded with everything. So you need to fill yourself up with good stuff. Grab a good book, because the limitations start here. And if you go into the bank and say, I would like to get a line of credit. No, you need that. I need a line of credit. You need to go with a whole different attitude. Exactly right. I come in here to get what's deserved to me, a larger line of credit.
I mean, you see, like in those your one sentence, it just shows the mindset you probably should develop, like in yourself, and those book and those people, they are people who can like put those like seeds in your head. where you can grow yourself, this kind of mindset where you can build something bigger and have no fear and be with positive energy, because that's how you probably attract a great mentors, because you will not get a great mentors if you are like locked in yourself and with negative stuff going on in your head, right?
Yuryi, I love what you just said. It's the law of attraction. If you're putting out negative vibes, guess who's all coming to you?
Oh yeah.
All the negative people, and they're going to tell you that you're a failure. And you know what? We might as well go get drunk.
Yeah.
Because everything, the sky is falling, and the tariffs are this. You put out positive vibes, and people are attracted to it. You're going to start. When I first became an entrepreneur, I didn't do this deliberately, but unconsciously, all my friends started to become that I attracted in my life. My new group of friends were all entrepreneurs. So I started to attract new different people in my life that were like-minded, different values, different beliefs. It's not only about making $1 billion and being rich and flashy cars. A lot of these guys are givers. So they'll make their money and gives back to society, and they know that givers get. So the more you give, the more money you make with your company and the more money you give away, or sponsorship for Little League or uniforms or helping kids, the more money the people, the community. One of the greatest lessons I ever had as an entrepreneur was my company, one of the cleaning companies I opened, it was called Sweeping Beauties. Sweeping Beauties was a cleaning business in both janitorial and maid service in Edmonton. And I sponsored Little League baseball for girls. So I paid for all their uniforms. On the back said Sweeping Beauties, It was kind of cool, little girls. The community came out and supported me in my business. Everybody that had maid service from other competitors started to call my business because they started to see, and my little leaguers that one year won a championship for Edmonton. And so they were featured and everybody loved this name, Sweeping Beauties on the back. It just built my business. I became one of the 100 fastest growing business in Alberta because of giving back to the community, but being, putting out, using that positive energy to do something positive for the community. And they came back and supported my business.
All those things that happen, it's just it's just a little moment, it's just a little signal in your brain.
Yep.
That leads you to another actions that will lead you to what you want to make in your business, right?
Yep.
And that's kind of, if you are starting to understand this kind of thing, it's probably change your whole trajectory, because you will understand that what is important, it's what you are doing today, right?
Yes.
And it will impact your tomorrow.
Yes.
And tomorrow will impact your month.
100%. Yes, absolutely. 100%. And people don't get that. They don't understand my actions today will cause, everything sets a cause in motion, whether it's good or bad.
For sure.
So whatever you're doing in this country, if you're new to Canada, charitable was not a big thing that was done in my wife's country in China. There was not a big thing that they were doing there. She comes here and sees a lot of people doing good acts and realizes that that's a good thing to do. She makes it, her heart feels good about doing that. So she gets to see it. So this is not something this may be something new for other countries that are just all about making money and not so much giving back. Canada loves it. And you want to build your business, be a giver, and you'll see your business grow.
It's a good advice, yeah. And it's also, I think it works kind of the same way in your personal life, because it's build your personality and who you are as a human, and who you are as a business owner, and depends what you want to grow and what you want to build.
So, on the other side of that, Yuryi, is that the more you put yourself out there, get out there as a new immigrant to Canada, do your networking, do your connections, talk to people like yourself, find other like-minded people, join networking groups. And not, I don't want to say some networking groups, yes, they do charge and are expensive. Others don't charge anything. And all you have to do is, buy a cocktail or buy a coffee or some chicken wings or something to support the restaurant or the venue that's doing there. But get out and get yourself out there and not hobnob and pass out your business cards or use your QR code for your LinkedIn and build and have conversations. But don't be too salesy about it. Don't talk to people, just ram your business down their throat. I want to know what you do. And the more I can help you, I might not be able to help you directly, but I might know somebody else that can come you. And because you're new to Canada, because I love your energy, I'm going to support you, and I hope that you and I keep a relationship. And that's how I look at everything. I mean, anytime I go to a networking function, I'm attracted to people I know that have got good energy, where you get into a networking function and there's so many people that are time vacuums that they're like bloodsuckers. They get in there and they're trying to sell you their stuff. And like, oh my God, like, I'll give you an example. I come from a family of financial planners. So the moment somebody gets my card, I get somebody that they'll give me a call and say, well, I would like to talk to you about financial plans. Wait a minute. If you got to know me, you'd realize that my family are financial planners. I come from a family of financial planners. You'd have to stand in a lineup of about 30 of my cousins in order to get to my financial planning, because I have it all. So, but that goes back to them not qualifying and not getting to know me, that they would do this. But right away, it's the sales pitch.
And they are trying to go to direct sales without this kind of first contact and knowing.
Yeah.
So, and if you don't know who are you selling to,
yes,
and what are you selling to,
yep,
it's how are you going to sell it? There's no way, right?
Well, yeah, we got a society today that's just so easier to sell. They don't want to build a relationship.
Okay.
In Canada, it's build a relationship. Let me step back on that comment. In Toronto, it may be more, Yuryi, what do you got to sell me? I don't want to know you. It's not, and it's very much like New York. It's very New Yorkish attitude. Just sell me the bloody thing. Tell me what the bottom line is. Vancouver is much like the Japanese. The Japanese or the Koreans. You're not going to do business in Japan immediately. They want to build a relationship with you. So Vancouver is very much relationship building as well. And then once we get to know you and trust you, then we can start to do some business. But many people come here and it's just the sales pitch, because that's what they know. You come from Toronto with that sales pitch attitude, people in Vancouver, and they can smell it a mile away and just walk away. Yuryi, you know what? Very, very interesting comment. So I'd love to hear what would be a final comment you would give to some new immigrant that's looking that may be here for a while, but has realized they've gone to university here. They might have graduated with an MBA from a university. They now got that beautiful MBA in their hand, but can't find a job, and now have to retort back to maybe their family experience of being an entrepreneur. What's some advice that you would give to somebody who's new to Canada, or somebody that's been here for a while but can't find a job and maybe has entrepreneurial spirit in their background?
I just probably want to say, start with, I've been, after a couple months as I arrived here, I went to West Vancouver, on the very top, when you can see like all the view.
Yes.
And I had a thought, like, I'm watching down there on downtown Vancouver and all city, and there's also a U.S. market, all North America.
Yep.
And you can see it all from there, and you are at very top,
Yep.
And it's just kind of like change the mindset. Like, there is like so many like things to do, and you should do just your best, because everyone has their own thoughts, like own ideas, and just find like something that works for you, and then if it doesn't, go as fast as you can for the next one, and do your best today. And that's probably like something that could change, because give a personal advice like without knowing someone is like, it's different. You doing your best, you are trying to understand the society, how it works here. You are following the people, same as Rob, and you are seeing how people think differently, and you change mindset in the same time. That's how you.
I love that. And you know what? What's very cool about what you said is going to that outdoor cafe in West Vancouver, up Seymour Road, and you stop there and you look out and you see what a great place to do. So if you're back home and you're listening to this and you're thinking about, well, I'd love to start something. You know what Yuryi said about something about driving his car, went to the West Van. Sit down, go to a quiet place, just sit in a quiet spot and just bring your notebook and journal. and write down some things and think about looking at the land out there, the clean, all the ships being weighted to. That's all economy.
It's all economy.
It's all economy. There's ships being loaded. There's ships coming and going. There's cruise ships coming in. People are spending money. That's all opportunity for you. And like you already said, from up there in West Vancouver, you can see even into Port Roberts, or you can see Mount Baker in Washington State. You get to see a lot of North America from there. And that's just what I'm saying is, go and find a quiet place. Find your favorite spot. Yuri, he just described it's one of my favorite spots. I go there a lot to journal and write. When I need a quiet place in my mind to take out there, think what I'm going to do for this next level. For instance, I'm writing a workshop right now for a company that's doing water buffalo cheese. So I need to find a quiet spot. There's where I would have gone on Wednesday. I have it in my notebook to go to my quiet spot, bring my notebook, look out at nature, talk to God, to have a little spiritual moment in my life for a second, and just look for inspiration to start to get things going. All I need is a seed, and then everything else will flow. But thank you, Yuri. That's right. I love that for a guy that's new to Canada. That's brilliant. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just remember, there's a lot of opportunities for everyone, literally, especially right now. The market is changing, AI is coming, and you can utilize it. And will be drones and everything. There's just so many things are coming, and you should be just with the right mindset, in the right place, with the right people.
Absolutely. And you know what, guys? Don't be afraid of AI, because if you're afraid of it, you're going to be a dinosaur. Things are going to change so drastically in the next 12 months. You need to embrace it in whichever form you want to use it. You know, one of the things I'm doing, just to close on here, is I'm so enamored and so honored to work with so many cool new immigrants that I'm writing a book right now called Suitcases to Startup. And it's new immigrants who have arrived in Canada that are writing a chapter in the book. So there's 25 authors that are writing their experience of their suitcases to start up, about their experience of starting a business in Canada. And some of the people that have submitted their stuff, their chapters so far, oh my God, it's so cool. So if that's something of interest, don't hesitate to send me a message. Thank you, Yuri.
Thank you,
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.